Hello, I'm Amber Miller, and this is my project on Agile versus Waterfall processes and guidelines. So let's start by talking about the waterfall processes. Waterfall is usually a very structured form of project management. It has very definite life cycles that it goes through to go from not having anything to the final product. And that life cycle looks like requirements, design, implementation, verification, and maintenance. Now, it doesn't always quite go that way, and I'll talk about SDLC a little bit later, but there's a tiny bit of flexibility in there, just not very much. As for the agile processes, on the other hand, they're pretty loosely structured. The development process it doesn't have a life cycle quite like Waterfall does. It's not rigid in saying you have to go these steps every step of the way and you can't break from that. It's typically, hey, let's do this portion. Let's go back and see if that works. Let's ask the client if they need something else. Let's see if the business wants to be more involved in this part, things like that. So in that aspect, Agile is extremely, extremely flexible in their process of development. So a guideline is defined as a general rule, principle, or piece of advice. To me, that's saying that it's not something that's definite. It's not something that can't be broken or manipulated or changed around a little bit. So as far as SDLCs go, they are still the software development life cycle, but they have a little bit more flexibility in that you can be doing or going through two life cycles at the same time. However, it doesn't catch all of the mistakes still, and so you do end up having to go back through the life cycle if something needs to be changed and doing the entire thing over again. But it's better than just doing one life cycle at a time, going to the end and figuring out that that's not working and doing it all over again and over again and over again. Another thing that Waterfall has is a project manager and a business analyst, and these things I don't necessarily think they're guidelines. I think those are more of rules that they have. You know, they need to have a project manager and they need to have a business analyst. Otherwise, the project really isn't going to work and it's probably going to fall apart at some point. As far as Agile goes, their guidelines really are just guidelines. Essentially, they're telling you just get the project done by whatever means necessary. If you need to, start in this one phase and go over that phase 3 times with the customer because they keep saying, no, that's not quite right. No, that's not quite right. That's not quite what I'm looking for, then do that and then move on to the next phase or move on to a completely different phase, one that makes more sense in the project that they're asking you to do for them. And then again, there is no project manager or business analyst, not specifically in Agile. They have a Scrum Master that is kind of in charge of the whole thing and helps to guide those people in the right directions and keep them on track and doing the things that they're supposed to be doing, like a shepherd guiding his flock. It's not keeping them so confined to this one thing. It's saying, hey, roam freely, do what you need to do, just make sure that you're getting these things done when you need to have them finished. And then there's also teams that people work in. It's not just one person doing this one thing, making sure that that one thing gets done. It's everybody's working together on this project, trying to make sure that it flows properly, trying to make sure that no mistakes are made, and then if there are mistakes made, then they get caught in time in a timely manner. And so it's all about teamwork and working together. So Agile and Waterfall are completely different. One is very structured and rigid, and there's not a whole lot of flexibility. The other is kind of fluid and much more flexible and, ready to be used in whatever way you need it to be. However, they can be used together. It's not one or the other. There is this blending that can happen, but balance is key. So you need to assess the project and decide how much of each method you need for that specific project. Because different projects call for different amounts of Agile and different amounts of Waterfall. Some of them need a little bit more structure, or some businesses want a little bit more structure, while others, they want less structure. They want more freedom to do the things that they want to do when they want to do them. So it all just depends on what your business wants, what their business wants, what the project calls for. That will determine how much of each you're going to use. So when using Agile or Waterfall, there is no right or wrong way to go about them, especially if you're going to be blending them together. There's no correct amount of Agile or correct amount of Waterfall to be used. So as long as you are happy and the business that you're working with is happy with the end result, then there's nothing that can go wrong, right? So just have fun, enjoy yourself, really get in there and make sure that you are doing the best job that you possibly can using whatever methods you want. Thank you.